Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have this really pretty ink blended floral card to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I do keep my A2 bases folded and trimmed before I ever sit down to make a card. That's like the only base that I have made pre-made. So I didn't have to make a base in this one. So I just needed to trim down my mat and the panel that I'm going to blend on. And I would say I cut them down to, the black mat's about an 1/8 of an inch smaller than my A2 base, and then the HammerMill piece that I'm going to blend on is about 1/4 of an inch smaller than my base. And then I'm going to blend 2 Oxide ink colors. I did recently re-ink this picked raspberry. That's why it goes on so easily here. I do find that if you enjoy blending as much as I do, having an ink pad that's not like over inked, but well inked makes it a lot easier to blend. So I did go and re-ink a couple of my ink pads recently because they were getting kind of low. So this is one of them. That's why the color is going on so quickly and easily and vibrantly, just because I have recently re-inked this specific ink color. So I used 2 ink colors. I have picked raspberry and seedless preserves. This is probably one of my favorite color combinations. You guys know, if you've been with me for a minute, that I love purples. I also love pinks. I don't know. I like vibrant colors. They just make me happy. That's why so many of my projects end up being like rainbow colors, because they're usually vibrant. But purple, I'm just really, really drawn to purple. And so this kind of pink with this really pink purpley color, just I love the look of the two together. So I'm kind of trying to create a halo of color. So the center is going to be the most vibrant, the brightest part, and then it kind of fades out more into the seedless preserves color. And I do find it easier generally to blend 2 inks together if you have a layer of the ink underneath. And because my picked raspberry was just recently re-inked, it was really easy to put that color down, so I just kind of ended up doing that. And then domed foams as well, I find, are a really great way to get a good blend of ink down on your cardstock, because you don't get any harsh edges because they're domed instead of the flat blenders. So if something you're really interested in ink blending but you're struggling a little bit, that is a tip that I have. The domed foams are a lot easier to work with, in my opinion. I mean, I know people who blend beautifully with the flat foams, so it just takes a little bit of practice to not set them down flat, but you can ink blend either way. Now, so I'm going to test out my blended panel here because I want to white heat emboss, and thankfully it's really good that I did this, because you're going to see me make not a mistake, but I kind of skipped a step when I go to white heat emboss on top of this. So you can see that my panel is now dry. I walked away from it. I did some other things while waiting for it to dry. You can heat set it too if you want to. I didn't. I just wandered off and did other things, but you absolutely could. And I have the Tim Holtz Floral Trims stamp set here. I love this one. I've used it in a few cards now. It's just really pretty, and it works really well for an opened area design like what I'm kind of trying to create here. So that was kind of why I chose this specific stamp set for this, because of the open areas. So you still see all that really vibrant color underneath, but you get this beautiful white embossed floral on top. So it looks really pretty. So then I did spin my cardstock because I wanted to be able to emboss on both the top corner and the bottom corner of my card. Or I guess in the end, it's like the left corner and the bottom right corner. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's 2 different corners of the card. And then this is where I skipped a step. I didn't put anti-static powder on this second side when I went and added the ink. Normally you would do that because it sticks, like the embossing powder likes to stick to things. So I'm usually pretty good at doing that, but I didn't do it. I wasn't even thinking about it. So it's really good that I had tested that my ink was dry, my blended background was dry before I did this, or I would have had a bit of a mess on my hands. Not that you can't fix that. You can. There are ways, but ideally you don't make that mistake, and then you don't have to worry about trying to fix it. So then I am going to heat set this white embossing powder. I love the look of white on top of these really beautiful blended panels. Black would look stunning too, although I generally stay away from black embossing powder. But you could, silver would look really pretty too. Gold, you guys know I love gold. So you could really do any of those fun colors and it would look really pretty. I just chose to do white because I think that it's pretty stunning. And then I wanted to stamp on the inside of the base. So I have the base folded inside out at the moment in my Misti. And I just pounced some of the color onto the same stamp in my Misti. I didn't even move it. I just shifted my card base to where I wanted it. And and then I stamp down, and I did choose to pounce it instead of ink it up just because it kind of gives me a little bit of a better variation in my color when I work with multiple colors. And ultimately, I kind of really kept Seedless preserves to the center of the flowers to kind of make them a bit more vibrant, but mostly you're going to see picked raspberry as the color that I have for all of the stamping in the base there. Really, it doesn't matter. Like, you could use either, but I just thought this would look really cool as it's in the folded edge there. And then because I can't leave well enough alone and I love everything that sparkles, I did bring in my clear glitter pen. This isn't a necessary step. However, I love all sparkly things, so I feel like it's necessary for my card creation. Just be aware that because this pen is water-based, you are going to shift your Oxide ink a little bit, because Oxide inks work with water. That's their whole purpose, right? They're water soluble, so they'll move. Just be aware of that as you're kind of blending over top of it with this glitter pen. That's why you see me wiping my pen off as I leave an area, because I don't want to smear everything and just put picked raspberry over top of, put Seedless preserves over top of picked raspberry in the areas that I have blended them in. So you do see me wipe the pen tip off fairly consistently, just so that I don't have too much color movement. But otherwise, it puts down this just really beautiful glittery sparkle on top of the flowers. I focused mainly on the flower areas just because that is my preference. I love how that looks. And it also kind of just adds a little bit of something extra to the card. And then I chose a stamp set. This is a stamp from the Noteworthy stamp set, which is also by Tim Holtz. And it's kind of a fitting saying for me. It says start somewhere. Now, if you guys know, if you've been following the vlog content that I've been putting out, and I'm a little behind on that because that's just a different style of editing that I'm really trying to learn, and it's a little more difficult. I started a small business where I create stickers, and one day I'd like to do stationery and different things, but currently I'm doing stickers, and it took a lot to get to a point in my art where I felt like it was something someone actually might want to purchase. So I think that that's just... this is a really fitting sentiment to me, simply because I had to start somewhere, right? I finally had to just decide that I was going to start, even though I didn't necessarily feel ready, and it was very scary. It's still scary. I only have 3 items for sale in my Etsy shop so far because I'm working on other products. I've actually designed and created 2 other stickers this week. Well, not this week, over the last little bit, and those will be, I'll show you guys those in my next vlog, which hopefully will be soon. It's just trying to get the right content for those that I think would be interesting to see. So it's just a really different style of editing than these kind of videos. And it's hard to make it interesting. Like, it's hard to create something that I'm kind of like, you want to watch this because you want to see what I'm up to, like me as the person, not me as the card creator. So it's a really interesting balance between finding stuff that I hope you guys would find interesting. I mean, the cats are always in the vlogs. So if you guys love seeing my cats and you have a little bit of spare time and you want to check out a vlog, go and check them out because the cats are in them. They show up pretty predominantly in the vlogs. And I think that I'm getting better at editing them every time I create one. I've only created 3 so far because, like I said, it's just a very different style of content, and I'm not always 100% sure what you guys would like to see. So I want to make some handmade paper, so that's going to be in a vlog. Probably not the 4th vlog. I'm hoping that'll be in the 5th vlog, but yeah, if you have any interest at all in what I'm doing kind of behind the scenes and me as a person, go and check out those vlogs. That would be pretty amazing. So I did trim the sentiment down into these little labels. I felt like it was just better separate, so I kind of trimmed them down. And then I added some black thin 3D foam squares to the back. I wanted them to stand up a little bit so that they kind of caught your focus the most, because I think that they're pretty fitting. And then I just adhered them down with my reverse tweezers. I find that the easiest way to lay stuff like this, just because I do have long nails and they can kind of get in the way and be a bit of a pain sometimes. But I love them, so it's really hard for me to give up on the long nails, although I will be shortening them soon, so I have some other projects I want to work on that. I have some mixed media stuff I want to do. I mean, I would love to know what you guys think of what you might like to see on the channel. If you have a preference or any ideas, let me know. I'm always game to hear what you think and what you'd love to see, because I mean, the channel succeeds in obviously my passion for what I'm doing, but also in if I'm showing something you want to see, right? So it's kind of a mismatch of what I want to make and what you want to see, and those kind of have to balance out. And yes, there was a piece of hair right there that came out of my glue bottle. Who knows how that happened? I have 5 cats, 2 of which are long-haired, so I don't know, but you're gonna see me here in a second add some sequins to the card front to kind of hide that big glue smear, because it will change the color of the Oxide ink. It's fine when the sequin sits on top of it because you just notice the sequin, you don't notice the glue, but because it's on just the Oxide and I didn't like that it was kind of eye-catching, you see here I'm going to add 2 more sequins to keep my uneven number, first off, and second off to hide that weird piece of hair that came out of my glue bottle. So yeah, but yeah, this is the card I have for you guys today. It's a bit of a simpler card, but I think it turned out stunning. I love it. I'd love to know what you think. Please leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I just really want to see the channel grow and the community, get bigger. I am planning to do a live, hopefully in June. That is the plan, now that I've kind of got my work schedule figured out, and I will let you guys know as soon as I know a date and a time for that. But yeah, so that is the one I have for you guys today. Thank you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.